Hey grade 3-4, welcome to our next art lesson. Now this one's going to go over 2 weeks and it's a drawing activity. So we're going to be looking at positive and negative space. What you will need today is you will need some white paper. If you have a really big bit, fantastic, but if you have a smaller bit, absolutely fine as well. So up to you. You will also need a pencil and a black marker if you can find one. So the first week we're going to be doing our outline and next week we're going to be adding colour. So you might be thinking, what is positive and negative space? It's really important in artwork. It's a little bit of a funny thing to explain, but once you get it, you'll be able to see it in lots of different types of artwork. So negative space is all the space around an object in your artwork, okay? Positive space is the focus of the artwork. So when you look at something and you can see the main focus, that's the positive space. Around it is the negative space. I'm going to show you some examples of artwork that uses this, but both are really important. Neither one is more important than the other, and this project that we're going to do really shows off positive and negative space in a really nice way. So I'm going to show you some examples now, so then you can visualize what is positive and negative space. So grade 3-4, to get started on your positive and negative shape drawing, you are going to need to walk around your house or school if you're at school and find some interesting shapes that can be traced around. Now trace means to go around the edge of the shape. So for example, I've got some shapes that I have hunted through my house. I've got a spoon, so you can see that I would be tracing around this shape here, and that can sit really flat on my page. Here is another example. Even though this is a 3-dimensional object, it's more than just a circle. I've got this little lip up here, so when I trace it, when I get to that little lip, it would have a little spike there. That could be something cool. I've also here got a measuring cup. You can see I've already been tracing this one for previous projects. So I've got a circle, and then I've got this big part that comes out here which could look cool. Anyone know what this thing is? Has anyone seen one of these before? This is a dumpling maker, okay? It helps you to make dumplings. You sandwich it in between. And I got it because it's got a little bit of a wave around here and then these small parts here. So that could be something cool to trace. Another thing is scissors. I'm going to open them up and I could trace them around. Now that gives you a really cool shape, okay? Lots of things you can trace around. It needs to fit on your page though. I'm going to show you what we're going to do, but the idea is you're going to use pencil first and you are going to get your shape, whatever it might be, and you're going to layer it onto your bit of paper. So if I was working flat, I would place my scissors down and I would trace around the edge of them. Take my scissors off and then I'm going to move them somewhere else onto the page. It's really important that your shapes that you're tracing around overlap each other. Some can be completely off the page, some can be touching, because next week when we add particular colors, it's going to really show us that positive and negative space. Here's my first trace of my scissors. I've also made sure I have traced inside the handles. So once you've done one trace, you're going to move your object, whatever it is, and you are going to overlap it slightly. See how it's overlapping? And you will trace again. Okay, I've traced this second one now. I'm going to move this and you can see we're starting to get some overlap here. Next week when we're colouring, each of these different parts will be different colours. So I'm going to get my scissors again, okay, and I'm going to move them. And this time I'm going to put them a little bit off, okay? That's completely fine. I've still got a little part overlapping. Okay, so I'm going to trace that one now. So my third trace is now done. Let's move those scissors, starting to really come together. For this next one, I'm going to put it way off the edge. So I've just got these parts here. Okay, I'll trace this one as well. So I've gone ahead and traced my scissors multiple times all over my page. Some parts I have traced where they haven't overlapped, and some parts they have overlapped in multiple places. Next week when we add colour, the positive and negative space are really going to pop out. We've talked about that a little bit in our artwork. When it pops, means that our eyes go straight to it. So we'll go through colour next week, but I wanted to show you what it looks like when I've traced all over my page. Now for bigger bits of paper, I want you to trace around 10 times, okay? The smaller pieces of paper, I'll show you in a moment, it'll look a little bit cluttered, so a little too much on the page. So maybe around 7, 8, depends how big your shape is that you're tracing. Make sure that there are things overlapping, but there's not too much going on the page. So I'm going to show you some of the other pages I've done. This is on a smaller piece, and I've got my pencil here. Not my pencil, sorry, my spoon. So it was actually quite hard to trace my spoon because it kept on wanting to move around. Something like this shape will be easy because you can just hold it and trace around. Scissors were much more challenging because they wanted to move. So you've got to be really careful when you're holding your shape. Okay, so if you're up for the challenge, go for something harder, and if you want to start with something simple, you can. You might even want to lay out multiple objects on your page. That's completely fine too. Here is another one that I did, and this is my measuring cup, okay? So once you start layering, you can see where I'm going to colour next week. It's going to have lots of different positive and negative space. At the moment, we've just got our line. When we start adding colour next week, we'll be able to see it a lot better. So grade 3, 4, now it's your turn to start your positive and negative shape drawing. Remember to walk around the house and find some interesting shapes to trace. You might even want to do 2, 3 or 4, and then next week we can start colouring your favourite one. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.